Hi guys, this is the video for 1.4 day 2. We're going to be talking about a few different angle pairs here today. So the two big ones we're going to talk about are something called a linear pair and vertical angles. So this is the definition of what is it, and then the theorem is a property that all linear pairs have. So a linear pair is two angles on a line together. They're always going to share a ray, and they're actually always going to be adjacent. They're always right next to each other. And if we see it's a linear pair, the property it has is that it will always add to 180 degrees. So linear pairs are all supplementary. Vertical angles are formed anytime I have two lines crossing. We get this kind of X, and I get four angles. The angles across from each other are called vertical angles. And then the property they share, the theorem, is that all vertical angles are congruent. So in this picture, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, and angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. All right, so angle 1 and angle 4, we're trying to identify, are these adjacent, a linear pair, or not adjacent? So this says only adjacent because linear pairs are also adjacent, but it's a little more specific. Okay, so let's look at angle 1 and angle 4. Okay, so they are right next to each other, and they form a line together. So this is a linear pair. So we don't have to write adjacent here because linear pairs are always adjacent, so that's kind of all-encompassing. Okay, now let's look at angle 1 and angle 2. Okay, these are right next to each other. They're sharing this ray, but they don't form a line together. Those two angles together are more than 180 degrees, so these are only adjacent, not a linear pair. Okay, now we're looking at angle 1 and angle 3. Okay, these are not right next to each other because there's angles in between them. So these are not adjacent. And if they're not adjacent, they cannot be a linear pair. All right. Now we have problem 2. We're talking about two angles. Angle ABD and JBE are vertical angles. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up a picture there. All right, so we've got A, B, D. And actually, I'm going to use the top just so it's easier to see. So let's do A, B, D. So I'm talking about this angle and this angle are vertical angles. And JBE are vertical. So they're across from each other when I have those lines intersecting. We're told ABD is 5x, so this top angle is 5x, and the bottom angle is 12 minus x. Okay, find the value of x. So because these are vertical angles, I know I can set those two equal to each other. So we're going to say 5x is equal to 12 minus x, and that is the vertical angles theorem. And I'm doing a little abbreviating there. You are welcome to as well. Okay, it says find the value of x. I'm going to go ahead and finish this, guys. So I'm going to add x to both sides. So I've got 6x equals 12, divide by 6, and we get x equals 2. All right. Here we're doing a proof. We're justifying each step. Okay, so we have something kind of similar here. So this time, though, instead of vertical angles, it's a linear pair. So as soon as I see that, I'm going to set up something like this. So two angles on a line together. So we have ABD. Let's make this side ABD. So we'll do ABD is 5x. And DBE sorry, I gotta make this one D to make that work. So here's ABD and then DBE. There we go. Form a linear pair, and DBE is 17x minus 18. Okay, find the measures of both angles, justify each step. Okay, so we've got our picture, and we know that these two angles form a linear pair that was given to us. So we are going to set up an equation to find x. So we know that because those are a linear pair, they should add to 180. So I'm going to add 5x plus 17x minus 18 equals 180. Now, how did I know to set those to 180? I knew that because they are a linear pair. So that is the linear pair theorem. Okay, so now we're going to use our properties of equality to solve this equation. So I'm going to simplify first. I can put those together and get, what, 22x So you can say combine like terms or simplify there. Okay, now I'm going to work on getting x by itself, so I'm adding 18 to both sides. All right, and now I have 22x equals 198 when we simplify. So remember, after a property of equality, we always are simplifying. Now we're going to divide both sides by 22. Okay, so we've got 198 divided by 22, and we get 9, and that was the division POE. When we do the division, we got x equals 9 when we simplified. Okay, so now we were asked to find the measure of both angles, not just x. So we're going to have to plug our x back in. So we're going to plug it into first ABD. So let's do measure of angle ABD equals 5, but instead of x, we're going to plug in 9. This is our substitution property. Okay, so we get the measure of angle ABD is equal to 45 degrees when we simplify. So that was one of the angles we found. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other angle. So we're going to take the measure of angle DBE, which was 17x minus 18, but we're substituting in 9 for x. So again, we're using substitution. Okay, so we're going to do 17 times 9 and then minus 18. And we get 135. So the measure of angle DBE is 135 degrees. All right, so we showed what both angles were equal to here and here, so we have satisfied justifying each step. Thanks for watching.